It was a crisp autumn evening in 1965, and the leaves were falling gracefully from the trees, painting the streets in shades of amber and gold. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow over the city, I found myself once again in the company of Elliot Brooks, one of the finest detectives of our time. Elliot's office was a small, cluttered space that seemed to overflow with the remnants of past cases. Shelves filled with case files, maps, and old newspaper clippings adorned the walls, each one a testament to his incredible skill and determination. I had been his partner for several years now, and together we had solved some of the most perplexing mysteries that had baffled others. That evening, as I sat at my desk, engrossed in a book, Elliot's voice broke the silence. "Miguel, take a look at this," he said, holding up an envelope sealed with an elegant wax seal bearing the Blackwood family crest. I set my book aside and took the envelope from his hand. The script on the front was delicate and refined, hinting at a sense of urgency. "Who is it from?" I asked, my curiosity piqued. "Lady Agatha Blackwood," Elliot replied. "She believes her family is cursed and is in desperate need of our assistance." As I carefully opened the envelope and began to read the letter, a sense of foreboding washed over me. Lady Agatha's plea was filled with desperation, describing a series of untimely deaths that had plagued the Blackwood family for generations. The letter spoke of a dark and ancient curse that had brought misery and tragedy to her ancestors. Elliot's keen eyes sparkled with excitement. "We must go to Ravenwood Manor," he declared, his voice filled with determination. "This case has all the hallmarks of an intriguing mystery." The next morning, we set out on our journey to Ravenwood Manor. The drive was long, but the conversation with Elliot made the time pass quickly. We discussed the potential origins of the curse, the possible suspects, and the steps we would take to unravel the mystery. As we approached the manor, its imposing silhouette loomed against the crimson sky. The estate was a magnificent yet eerie sight, with ivy-covered walls and tall, dark windows that seemed to watch our every move. The atmosphere was thick with history and whispers of the past. Lady Agatha greeted us at the entrance, her demeanor a mix of hope and desperation. She was a regal woman, her silver hair neatly pinned, and her eyes carrying the weight of her family's tragedies. "Welcome to Ravenwood Manor," she said, her voice trembling. "I fear our family is cursed, and I need your help to break it." Elliot extended his hand in greeting, his expression one of reassurance. "We are here to help, Lady Agatha. We will do everything in our power to uncover the truth and put an end to this curse." She led us inside, where the grandeur of the manor's interior was only slightly marred by the sense of unease that permeated the air. Portraits of stern-faced ancestors lined the walls, their eyes seeming to follow us as we walked. The opulence of the decor contrasted sharply with the palpable fear that seemed to hang over the household. Lady Agatha wasted no time in briefing us on the history of the curse. According to family legend, it all began in the early 1800s with a forbidden love affair between Eleanor Blackwood and Thomas Hawthorne. Their love had been discovered by Eleanor's father, Lord Edmund Blackwood, who had cursed their descendants to suffer untimely deaths. "Our family has suffered greatly because of this curse," Lady Agatha explained, her voice heavy with sorrow. "Several members of our family have met tragic ends, and we fear that it will continue unless we can break it." Elliot listened intently, his mind already working to piece together the puzzle. "We will start by exploring the manor and its history. There must be clues hidden within these walls that will help us understand the true nature of the curse." Lady Agatha nodded, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Brooks. I have faith that you and Mr. Vasquez will find the answers we seek." With our mission clear, Elliot and I began our investigation. The first step was to delve into the manor's history, searching for any records or documents that could shed light on the curse. We combed through dusty archives, deciphering old letters and diaries that spoke of the family's past. One particular diary, belonging to Eleanor Blackwood, caught our attention. Her entries were filled with anguish and longing, revealing the depth of her love for Thomas Hawthorne and the torment she endured because of her father's wrath. August 3rd, 1810. My heart aches for him, but our love is forbidden. Father has sworn to punish us, and I fear for our future. The key to breaking the curse lay in uncovering the truth behind Eleanor's story. As we delved deeper into the manor's secrets, we discovered a hidden room filled with relics from the past. Among them were love letters exchanged between Eleanor and Thomas, their words a testament to their enduring love. Late one evening, while exploring the manor, we encountered a ghostly figure wandering the halls. It was Eleanor's spirit, her sorrowful eyes pleading for help. She led us to a hidden compartment in the attic, where we found more letters and documents that revealed the true extent of Lord Edmund's cruelty. He had conspired to frame Thomas for a crime he did not commit, ensuring his execution and leaving Eleanor heartbroken and vengeful. Armed with this new information, Elliot and I confronted Lady Agatha. We presented her with the evidence, and she was shocked but determined to set things right. She agreed to help us exonerate Thomas's name publicly, knowing that it was the only way to lift the curse. Thomas Hawthorne was innocent, Elliot declared. Lord Edmund Blackwood is the true culprit. Lady Agatha's face paled as the realization sank in. All these years, our family has suffered because of a lie. We must make this right. With the weight of history on our shoulders, we prepared to make a public announcement, clearing Thomas's name and putting an end to the curse that had haunted Ravenwood Manor for generations. As we stood together, ready to face the townspeople, I felt a sense of camaraderie and purpose. We were not just solving a mystery. We were bringing justice and peace to a family that had been plagued by a dark legacy. As the sun rose over Ravenwood Manor, casting long shadows across the estate, Elliot and I were already deep into our investigation. The manor was a labyrinth of rooms and corridors, each filled with relics from the past. The challenge was to find the right clues that would lead us to the heart of the curse. We decided to start our search in the library, a grand room lined with towering shelves filled with books. The scent of old paper and leather filled the air, and dust motes danced in the beams of sunlight that streamed through the tall windows. The library was a treasure trove of knowledge, and we hoped it would hold the answers we sought. Elliot and I began by examining the bookshelves, looking for any volumes that seemed out of place or particularly relevant. We pulled out old tomes and carefully leafed through their pages, searching for any mention of the Blackwood family or the curse that had plagued them. It was a tedious process, but we were determined to uncover the truth. As I scanned the shelves, my eyes fell upon an old leather-bound book with a faded spine. It was a diary, and as I opened it, I realized it belonged to Eleanor Blackwood. Her handwriting was elegant but filled with pain and longing. The diary entries chronicled her love for Thomas Hawthorne and the torment she had endured because of her father's wrath. August 3rd, 1810. My heart aches for him, but our love is forbidden. Father has sworn to punish us, and I fear for our future. Elliot, who had been examining another part of the library, joined me as I read the entry aloud. This is a significant clue, he said, his eyes narrowing in thought. We need to find more of these diary entries. They might reveal the true extent of the curse and how we can break it. We continued our search, and as we delved deeper into the shelves, we discovered a hidden compartment at the back of the library. It was cleverly concealed behind a row of books, and inside, we found a collection of letters and documents, carefully preserved and bound together. These letters were exchanged between Eleanor and Thomas, and their words were filled with passion and longing. They spoke of secret meetings, stolen moments, and the pain of being torn apart by Lord Edmund's cruel decree. Each letter was a testament to their enduring love and the suffering they had endured. One letter in particular caught our attention. It was dated shortly before Thomas's execution and revealed a plan to prove his innocence. My dearest Eleanor, I have discovered evidence that can clear my name, Thomas wrote. Meet me in the hidden garden at midnight. We must act quickly, for time is running out. This revelation sent a shiver down my spine. We need to find this hidden garden, I said. It might hold the evidence that can prove Thomas's innocence and break the curse. Elliot nodded in agreement. Let's start by searching the grounds. There must be a clue somewhere that will lead us to the garden. We began our search in the manor's extensive gardens, a sprawling expanse filled with blooming flowers, ancient trees, and neatly trimmed hedges. The garden was a serene and beautiful space, but there was an underlying sense of sadness, as if it had witnessed many secrets and sorrows over the years. As we explored the grounds, we came across an old, weathered map of the estate. The map was faded and difficult to read, but it showed the layout of the gardens and the location of various hidden paths and secluded spots. One area in particular caught our attention, a small, enclosed garden at the back of the manor, concealed behind a tall hedge. With the map as our guide, we made our way to the hidden garden. It was a secluded and tranquil space, filled with blooming flowers and ancient trees. Despite its beauty, the garden felt somber, as if it had been a place of sorrow and heartache. As we searched the garden, we discovered a small, weathered gravestone hidden among the flowers. The inscription read, "Thomas Hawthorne, beloved and unjustly condemned." It was clear that Eleanor had created this hidden memorial for her lost love, and it became a poignant reminder of the tragic events that had unfolded. Nearby, we found a small, rusted lockbox buried beneath the soil. With some effort, we managed to open it and found a stack of documents inside. Among them were letters, court records, and evidence that proved Thomas's innocence. It was clear that Lord Edmund had manipulated evidence and coerced witnesses to ensure Thomas's execution, all in a bid to protect his family's honor. Armed with this new information, we returned to the manor to confront Lady Agatha. We presented her with the evidence we had gathered, detailing the true story behind the curse and Lord Edmund's actions. Lady Agatha was visibly shaken, but she was determined to set things right. "I had no idea," she whispered, her voice trembling. "All these years we have suffered because of a lie. We must make this right." Elliot nodded in agreement. "The only way to break the curse is to exonerate Thomas Hawthorne and restore his honor. We must make a public announcement and reveal the truth to the townspeople." Lady Agatha agreed, and we set about preparing for the announcement. The townspeople gathered in the manor's grand foyer, their curiosity piqued by the promise of a revelation. As Elliot and I stood before them, I felt a sense of camaraderie and purpose. We were not just solving a mystery. We were bringing justice and peace to a family that had been plagued by a dark legacy. Our investigation has uncovered the truth behind the curse that has haunted Ravenwood Manor for generations. Elliot began, his voice steady and authoritative. Thomas Hawthorne was falsely accused and executed for a crime he did not commit. The true culprit was Lord Edmund Blackwood, who conspired to frame him to protect his family's honor. The townspeople gasped in shock, and Lady Agatha stepped forward, her eyes filled with determination. "Our family has suffered greatly because of this lie," she said. "It is time to set the record straight and lift the curse that has plagued us for so long." With the weight of history on our shoulders, we revealed the evidence we had gathered, exonerating Thomas and restoring his honor. As the truth came to light, the oppressive atmosphere that had hung over Ravenwood Manor began to lift, and Eleanor's spirit appeared once more, her sorrowful expression replaced with one of gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice echoing through the foyer. "You have freed us." With the curse broken, the Blackwood family could finally move forward, free from the shadow of their tragic past. Lady Agatha dedicated herself to restoring the manor and mending the rifts within the family, determined to create a better future for her descendants. With the curse seemingly broken, a new sense of hope and relief permeated Ravenwood Manor. But Elliot and I knew that the work was not yet complete. There were still unanswered questions and mysteries to unravel. Our investigation into the Blackwood family's history had taken us deeper into the lives of Eleanor and Thomas, but we needed to ensure that the curse was truly lifted and that the family could move forward without fear. One evening, as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the manor, Elliot and I decided to take a walk through the grounds. The gardens, once filled with a somber atmosphere, now seemed to breathe with new life. The flowers were in full bloom, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of roses and lavender. As we walked, our conversation turned to the events that had transpired. "Do you think we've truly broken the curse?" I asked, my voice filled with curiosity. Elliot's expression was thoughtful. "I believe we've uncovered the truth and brought justice to Eleanor and Thomas. But curses are often deeply rooted in the fabric of a family's history. We must remain vigilant and ensure that all loose ends are tied." Our footsteps led us to the hidden garden where we had discovered Thomas's memorial. The small gravestone stood as a poignant reminder of the love and tragedy that had shaped the Blackwood family. As we stood there in silence, I felt a chill run down my spine. It was as if the very air around us had shifted. Suddenly, a ghostly figure appeared before us, her ethereal form shimmering in the twilight. It was Eleanor's spirit, her eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and gratitude. She moved gracefully, her presence both haunting and serene. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "You have uncovered the truth and freed us from the curse." Elliot and I exchanged a glance, our hearts heavy with the weight of her words. "Is there anything more we can do to help you find peace?" Elliot asked, his tone gentle and respectful. Eleanor's gaze turned towards the manor, and a single tear rolled down her translucent cheek. "There is one last thing," she said. "My love for Thomas was pure and unwavering, but there are others who suffered because of my father's actions. You must uncover their stories and ensure that they too find justice." With those words, Eleanor's spirit began to fade, leaving us with a renewed sense of purpose. We needed to dig deeper into the history of Ravenwood Manor and uncover the untold stories of those who had been wronged. It was the only way to ensure that the curse was truly lifted and that the Blackwood family could move forward without the shadows of the past. The next morning, Elliot and I resumed our investigation with a new sense of determination. Our first stop was the manor's attic, a dusty and neglected space that had not been touched for years. The attic was filled with old furniture, trunks, and boxes, each one potentially holding the secrets we sought. As we carefully sifted through the contents, we discovered a collection of old letters and diaries, each one telling a story of love, loss, and betrayal. The more we read, the clearer it became that Lord Edmund's actions had caused immense suffering to many individuals, not just Eleanor and Thomas. One diary, belonging to a maid named Mary, revealed the heart-wrenching tale of how she had fallen in love with a stable hand named Samuel. Their love had been forbidden by Lord Edmund, and Mary had been forced to leave the manor in disgrace. The diary entries were filled with sorrow and longing, painting a vivid picture of the pain she had endured. August 12, 1812. "I can no longer bear the weight of this burden. Samuel and I were torn apart by Lord Edmund's cruelty, and I fear I will never see him again. My heart aches with longing, but I must remain strong." As we read Mary's diary, I felt a deep sense of empathy for her and Samuel. Their story was yet another casualty of Lord Edmund's ruthless pursuit of control and honor. It was clear that we needed to uncover their fate and bring their story to light. Our investigation led us to a hidden compartment in the attic, where we found a collection of letters exchanged between Mary and Samuel. Their words were filled with love and hope, despite the obstacles they faced. One letter in particular stood out, as it revealed their plan to reunite and start a new life together. "My dearest Mary, I have secured passage for us on a ship bound for America. We will leave this place and start anew, free from the tyranny of Lord Edmund. Meet me at the old oak tree by the river at midnight, and we shall begin our journey together." With this new information, Elliot and I decided to search the grounds for any clues that might lead us to the old oak tree by the river. The map we had found earlier proved to be invaluable, as it showed the location of the river and the surrounding area. As we made our way to the riverbank, the sound of flowing water filled the air, creating a soothing backdrop to our search. The old oak tree stood tall and majestic, its branches reaching out like a guardian of secrets. Beneath its canopy, we found a small, weathered box buried in the soil. Inside the box were more letters and documents, detailing Mary and Samuel's plans to leave Ravenwood Manor and start a new life together. The evidence revealed that they had indeed left the manor and settled in America, where they had built a life free from the shadows of the past. Armed with this new information, we returned to the manor to present our findings to Lady Agatha. We shared the stories of Mary and Samuel, as well as the evidence we had uncovered, ensuring that their legacy would be honored and remembered. Lady Agatha listened intently, her eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and gratitude. "Thank you for uncovering these stories," she said. "It is important that we remember the suffering of those who came before us and ensure that their stories are not forgotten." With the stories of Eleanor, Thomas, Mary, and Samuel brought to light, the oppressive atmosphere that had once hung over Ravenwood Manor seemed to lift even further. The truth had been revealed, and justice had been served. The Blackwood family could finally move forward, free from the shadows of their tragic past. Days turned into weeks as we continued our investigation into the hidden secrets of Ravenwood Manor. Despite the progress we had made, Elliot and I knew that there were still stories left untold and truths waiting to be uncovered. The manor held a history rich with intrigue, and we were determined to reveal every facet of its past. One afternoon, while exploring a lesser-known wing of the manor, we stumbled upon a door that had been sealed shut for years. The wood was weathered, and the hinges were rusted, suggesting it had not been opened in decades. With some effort, we managed to pry it open, revealing a small, dusty room that appeared to have been untouched for generations. Inside the room, we found an assortment of old furniture, covered in white sheets that had turned yellow with age. The air was thick with the scent of dust and mildew, and it was clear that this room had been forgotten by time. As we carefully removed the sheets, we discovered a large, ornate desk at the center of the room. Elliot's eyes gleamed with excitement as he approached the desk. "This desk might hold the key to more of the manor's secrets," he said, his voice filled with anticipation. We began to search the desk, opening drawers and examining the contents. Among the papers and trinkets, we found a collection of letters and documents that appeared to belong to Lord Edmund Blackwood. These documents provided a glimpse into his mind, revealing the depths of his obsession with control and power. One letter in particular stood out. It was addressed to a man named Charles Weston, a lawyer and confidant of Lord Edmund. The letter detailed Lord Edmund's plan to secure the family's future by any means necessary, including manipulation and deceit. It was clear that Lord Edmund had orchestrated not only the framing of Thomas Hawthorne, but also other schemes to maintain his grip on the family's legacy. "My dear Charles," the letter read, "the future of the Blackwood family rests on our ability to maintain control and protect our honor. We must ensure that no one stands in our way, and I trust you to help me execute these plans with the utmost discretion." As we read the letter, a picture began to emerge of a man consumed by his own ambition and willing to sacrifice anyone who threatened his power. It was a chilling revelation, and it only strengthened our resolve to uncover the full extent of his actions. Our search continued, and we discovered a hidden compartment in the desk containing a stack of legal documents. These documents detailed various transactions and agreements that Lord Edmund had made over the years, often at the expense of others. It was clear that his reach extended far beyond the manor's walls, and his actions had left a trail of suffering in their wake. With this new information in hand, we decided to delve deeper into the lives of those who had been affected by Lord Edmund's machinations. One name that appeared repeatedly in the documents was that of Henry Lawson, a local farmer who had lost his land due to Lord Edmund's ruthless tactics. Determined to uncover the truth, we paid a visit to Henry Lawson's descendants, who still lived in the area. They welcomed us into their home, and we spent hours listening to their stories, piecing together the events that had transpired all those years ago. Henry's grandson, Samuel Lawson, recounted the hardships his family had faced. "My grandfather was a hard-working man, but Lord Edmund took everything from him. He manipulated the legal system and forced my grandfather off his land, leaving him with nothing. It broke his spirit, and he was never the same after that." Samuel showed us a collection of old photographs and letters that had been passed down through the generations. These documents provided further evidence of Lord Edmund's ruthless tactics and the devastation he had caused to the Lawson family and others in the community. As we sifted through the evidence, we realized that Lord Edmund's actions had far-reaching consequences, affecting countless lives. It was a stark reminder of the power one man could wield and the importance of uncovering the truth. With the evidence we had gathered, we returned to Ravenwood Manor to present our findings to Lady Agatha. She listened intently as we shared the stories of those who had been wronged by her ancestors' actions. Her eyes filled with sorrow and determination as she absorbed the gravity of the revelations. "We must make amends for the suffering that has been caused," Lady Agatha said, her voice resolute. "The Blackwood family cannot move forward until we have acknowledged the pain we have inflicted and taken steps to right those wrongs." Elliot nodded in agreement. "The truth must be brought to light, and justice must be served. We will do everything in our power to ensure that the stories of those who were wronged are heard, and that their legacy is honored." With Lady Agatha's support, we began to reach out to the descendants of those who had been affected by Lord Edmund's actions. We organized meetings and gatherings, providing a platform for them to share their stories and seek closure. It was a cathartic process, allowing the community to come together and heal from the wounds of the past. As the weeks passed, the atmosphere at Ravenwood Manor continued to change. The once oppressive and somber ambience was replaced by a sense of hope and renewal. The gardens flourished, and the manor's halls were filled with the sounds of laughter and conversation. It was as if the very walls had been cleansed of the darkness that had once permeated them. Eleanor's spirit appeared to us one final time, her ethereal form glowing with a sense of peace and contentment. "You have done more than uncover the truth," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "You have brought justice and healing to those who suffered. For that, we are eternally grateful." With those words, Eleanor's spirit faded, leaving us with a profound sense of accomplishment. We had not only solved the mystery of the curse, but had also brought justice and healing to the Blackwood family and the community. As Elliot and I prepared to leave Ravenwood Manor, we felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Our journey had been filled with challenges and revelations, but we had stayed true to our mission and had made a lasting impact on the lives of those we had encountered. The manor, once a place of sorrow and tragedy, now stood as a testament to the power of truth and justice. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the grounds of Ravenwood Manor. The estate seemed to breathe a sigh of relief as the truth behind the curse was unveiled. Yet Elliot and I knew our work wasn't over. More secrets lay hidden within the manor, and it was up to us to bring them to light. After an early dinner, we retired to the library to review our findings and map out our next steps. The room was filled with the scent of aged paper and polished wood, creating an atmosphere of quiet contemplation. Elliot leaned back in his chair, his fingers steepled as he considered the evidence laid out before us. "We've uncovered so much already," I said, breaking the silence. "But it feels like there's still something missing." Elliot nodded thoughtfully. "You're right, Miguel. There are still pieces of this puzzle that we haven't found. Lord Edmund's reach was extensive, and I suspect there are more lives he affected that we haven't yet discovered." As we discussed our strategy, a soft knock at the door interrupted our thoughts. Lady Agatha entered the library, her expression a mix of determination and concern. "I wanted to thank you both for everything you've done," she said, her voice sincere. "But there's something else you should know. I recently found an old letter addressed to my father. It mentions a hidden room within the manor, a place where Lord Edmund kept his most private records." Elliot and I exchanged a glance, our curiosity piqued. "May we see the letter?" Elliot asked. Lady Agatha handed him the worn envelope, and he carefully unfolded the yellowed paper. The letter was brief but intriguing, hinting at a hidden chamber accessible only through a secret passage. It was signed by Charles Weston, the same lawyer who had assisted Lord Edmund in his schemes. "This could be the key to uncovering the final pieces of the puzzle," Elliot said, his eyes gleaming with excitement. "We need to find that hidden room." The three of us set out to search the manor, guided by the clues in the letter. The letter mentioned a portrait of Lord Edmund in the West Wing and the possibility that the secret passage was concealed behind it. We hurried to the West Wing, our footsteps echoing in the quiet halls. The portrait in question was a grand painting of Lord Edmund, his stern gaze seemingly watching over us. Elliot carefully examined the frame and the surrounding wall, searching for any signs of a hidden mechanism. After a few minutes, he found a small, inconspicuous latch hidden behind the frame. With a soft click, the portrait swung open, revealing a narrow passageway that led into darkness. We hesitated for a moment, the weight of history pressing down upon us, before stepping into the passage. The air was cool and damp, and the walls were lined with old stones that seemed to whisper secrets of the past. The passage led us to a heavy wooden door, its surface scarred and weathered by time. Elliot pushed it open, and we found ourselves in a dimly lit chamber filled with shelves of books and stacks of papers. It was Lord Edmund's private study, untouched for decades. We carefully sifted through the documents, uncovering more evidence of Lord Edmund's ruthless tactics and the lives he had destroyed. One file contained records of financial transactions, revealing bribes and coercion used to maintain his power. Another held letters detailing his manipulation of the legal system to eliminate his enemies. As we delved deeper into the study, we found a locked drawer in the desk. Lady Agatha produced a small key she had found with the letter, and it fit the lock perfectly. Inside the drawer, we discovered a collection of personal letters and a journal that appeared to belong to Lord Edmund himself. The journal was a chilling record of his thoughts and actions, revealing the depth of his obsession with control and power. His entries were filled with disdain for those he considered beneath him and a relentless determination to maintain his family's honor at any cost. June 15, 1811, the curse I placed upon Eleanor and her descendants was necessary to ensure the purity of the Blackwood name. I cannot allow the weakness of love to tarnish our legacy. As we read Lord Edmund's words, a sense of dread settled over us. It was clear that he had been driven by a twisted sense of duty, and his actions had caused immense suffering to countless individuals. The full extent of his cruelty was now laid bare before us. Lady Agatha's eyes filled with tears as she read the journal. "I cannot believe my ancestor was capable of such horrors," she whispered. "We must make this right." Elliot placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We will, Lady Agatha. The truth must be brought to light, and the victims of Lord Edmund's actions must be acknowledged." With the evidence we had gathered, we organized a final meeting with the descendants of those who had been wronged by Lord Edmund. The gathering took place in the grand foyer of Ravenwood Manor, where the walls now seemed to radiate a sense of hope and renewal. As Elliot and I presented our findings, the room filled with a mixture of shock, anger, and sorrow. The descendants listened intently, their faces reflecting the weight of the revelations. Lady Agatha stepped forward, her voice steady despite the emotion in her eyes. "I stand before you today as a member of the Blackwood family, deeply ashamed of the actions of my ancestor, Lord Edmund," she said. "I vow to do everything in my power to make amends for the suffering he caused. We must honor the memory of those who were wronged and ensure that their stories are never forgotten." The room was silent for a moment before a wave of applause and murmurs of agreement filled the air. The community had come together to confront the past and take the first steps toward healing. With the truth revealed and justice served, Ravenwood Manor began to transform. The gardens flourished, the halls echoed with laughter, and the oppressive atmosphere that had once hung over the estate was replaced with a sense of hope and renewal. Elliot and I stood by the old oak tree, reflecting on the journey we had undertaken. The sun's rays filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. "We've done good work here, Miguel," Elliot said, his voice thoughtful. "But our journey as detectives is far from over. There will always be new mysteries to uncover and new truths to reveal." I nodded, feeling a sense of camaraderie and purpose. Together, we can face any challenge that comes our way. As we left Ravenwood Manor, the shadows of the past had been banished, and a new chapter was ready to begin. The bonds we had forged and the lessons we had learned would stay with us, guiding us on our future adventures. The journey into the heart of Ravenwood Manor had forged an unbreakable bond between us, and we knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them with courage, determination, and unwavering resolve. With the weight of Lord Edmund's atrocities exposed and addressed, a sense of catharsis settled over Ravenwood Manor. The townspeople left with their grievances acknowledged, their ancestors' stories finally brought to light, and the atmosphere at the manor felt profoundly changed. Yet, amidst the newfound peace, there was an unshakable feeling that our work was not quite complete. Lady Agatha, ever the vigilant guardian of her family's legacy, approached us one evening. Her expression was somber, yet there was a glint of resolve in her eyes. "There is one final matter we must attend to," she said quietly, "before we can truly say that the curse is lifted." She led us down a series of winding corridors until we reached an unassuming door at the end of a long hallway. It creaked open to reveal a small, cluttered room filled with old books and artifacts. In the center of the room stood a tall, ornately carved mirror. "This mirror," Lady Agatha began, "has been passed down through generations of the Blackwood family. It is said to hold the final remnants of the curse." Elliot and I exchanged curious glances. "What do you mean?" I asked, intrigued by the peculiar object. Lady Agatha sighed, her eyes reflecting the weight of her family's history. "Legend has it that Lord Edmund performed a dark ritual involving this mirror to seal the curse upon our family. It is said that until the mirror is shattered, the curse will never be fully lifted." Elliot stepped closer to the mirror, examining its intricate frame and the polished surface that seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly light. "If what you say is true, then this mirror is the last piece of the puzzle," he said thoughtfully. "But breaking it could have unforeseen consequences." Lady Agatha nodded. "I understand the risks, but we have come too far to stop now. We must break the mirror and ensure that the curse is truly lifted." With a sense of solemn duty, Elliot and I prepared to shatter the mirror. We carefully moved the surrounding artifacts to a safe distance and laid a protective cloth on the floor. Elliot took hold of a heavy, iron candlestick and positioned himself in front of the mirror. "Are you ready?" he asked, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. Lady Agatha and I nodded in unison, our gazes fixed on the mirror. With a deep breath, Elliot swung the candlestick, striking the mirror with a resounding crash. The glass shattered, sending shards cascading to the floor like falling stars. For a moment, the room was filled with an eerie silence, as if the very air held its breath. Then, a soft, ethereal light began to emanate from the shattered mirror, filling the room with a warm, golden glow. It was as if the spirits of the past were being released, their burdens finally lifted. As the light faded, a sense of peace settled over us. Lady Agatha's eyes glistened with tears, and a smile of relief spread across her face. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice filled with gratitude. "The curse is finally lifted." Elliot placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. It was our duty and our honor to help you and your family find peace. The transformation of Ravenwood Manor was now complete. The oppressive atmosphere that had once hung over the estate was gone, replaced by a sense of renewal and hope. The gardens bloomed with vibrant colors, and the halls were filled with the sounds of joy and laughter. As Elliot and I prepared to leave, Lady Agatha gathered the household staff and the remaining family members in the grand foyer. She addressed them with a voice filled with determination and pride. We have faced the darkness of our past and emerged stronger for it. Our family's legacy is no longer one of sorrow and suffering, but of resilience and renewal. Let us honor the memory of those who came before us by building a future filled with hope and unity. The room erupted in applause, and I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of fulfillment. Our journey at Ravenwood Manor had been challenging, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. We had uncovered the truth, brought justice to those who had been wronged, and helped a family heal from the wounds of the past. As we drove away from the manor, the sun cast a warm, golden light over the estate, and I felt a profound sense of closure. Elliot and I knew that our work as detectives was far from over, but the bond we had forged and the lessons we had learned at Ravenwood Manor would stay with us forever. No matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, with courage, determination, and an unwavering resolve to seek the truth and bring justice to those in need. The journey into the heart of Ravenwood Manor had come to an end, but it had left an indelible mark on our souls, shaping us into the detectives we were destined to become.